Like this stuff. You know, a standard quote unquote regular individual, or just because they sing or do movies or whatever it is that somebody would attach as a celebrity. Maybe people should recognize that that's what they do for a living. And just because you do something for a living, you don't have to inherit, and people shouldn't have to put that celebrity on individuals. Just enjoy the art that they're sharing with you as their profession, but respect them as a human being, because that's what they are. People like to, one of the things I text you that I want to talk about was labels.
Mm.
People love to put labels on people.
Mm.
It's like just the general thing to do is to put labels on people. It's people feel like everything needs to be labeled, and it needs to be labeled by their standards or indoor general standards. This is the generalized way that we label these things. Like celebrity is a label. White people, white is a label. Black people, black is a label. Vegan is a label. I remember somebody labeled me one time. I mean, I'm sure we all been labeled different stuff
Right.
hella times. I got
Right.
a couple ones now that I said that out loud. But what I was gonna talk about is I was in Atlanta, and you know, my partners would always be like, a couple of them you met, and they would be like, my partners would always be like, oh yeah, P, all he do is train. If you need to train, this the dude that's gonna get you right, blah, blah, blah. All come to him. Anybody who would come through, no matter who they was, this is what they would say, right? Any person, male, female, thug, square, don't matter. Hey, this who you need to go. I'm telling you, my boy, he get you right. That's what he do. All he do every day is focus on, you know, that way of life. And it always come up, well, what you eat and how do you eat? And I remember it was a time where I was only eating seafood.
Mm.
And somebody said, oh, I know the word now. I didn't know the word then.
Pescatarian.
Somebody said, you're a pescatarian. I said,
Mm.
nah, I only eat seafood. They said, oh, so you're a pescatarian. That's what it is. You're a pescatarian. Bitch, I ain't no pescatarian. What the fuck is you talking about? I just told you I eat salmon. Fuck is you talking about? That's a pescatarian. Yeah, of course, I didn't say the B word or
Right.
nothing like
Right.
that,
Right.
but I'm just saying. So that was the first time I heard that. I'm like, a pescatarian. And I was like, oh, they did. So I'm like, my decisions that I made, I didn't make that decision being like, oh, I want to be a pescatarian. That's my goal. I'm
Right.
gonna be a pescatarian. I actually, every 30 days, challenge something in my life. And through challenging things, I get to certain levels. I level up by challenging things every 30 days. Today is the first. I literally just sent out the 30-day goal habit sheet that I practice to all of my members today. So I do it every 30 days. And by doing that, that's how I continue to level up and work on one bad habit at a time. So for me, when I was just eating seafood, it was over time that I got there through what I believe was best practices for me. It wasn't because of no label, no fucking pescatarian. I had never heard of that shit until that day. Um, but I also been labeled a thug before. I remember I was in the 5th grade. Should I say this girl name? And this girl named Quaisha. That was her name,
You should have kept
Quaisha.
that name to yourself.
Nah, but I said the name on purpose. You hear that name? Okay. But nothing against her. No, not Quaisha. Koisha. Her name was Koisha. That is her name. I remember we was walking out. I'm in
Croatia.
shit, if she see this. But anyway, I messed your name up at first. Koisha. So we walking out of school. And I'm about to walk across the street. We just happened to be walking out at the same time. The next day she come to school, and her mom used to always pick her up. I think her mom had like a Beamer or something like that. The only Beamer, maybe it wasn't a Beamer, maybe it was an Acura. I thought it was a Beamer because it's like the only nice car that I would see periodically.
Mm.
But anyway, her mom picked her up. I believe it was a Beamer. Um, and then she said, the next day she came to school, and she said, "My mom told me to stay away from you." Now I'm in the 5th grade. It ain't my girlfriend. We just children, friends. You know what I'm saying? Acquaintances. And she said, my mom told me to stay away from you, don't be around you. I said, oh, all right. And I said, why? She was like, because you're a thud. I said, a thud? what the heck is a thud? She said, a thud. I said, what? And then she said it again. She said, thug. I thought she said thud. A thug? This is the first time I've been called a thug. Uh, I'm in the 5th grade. Mom said I was a thug. First of all, lady, I didn't want your daughter. But anyway, besides all that, people have to label something. They got to label it a vegan. They got to label it a pescatarian. They got to label it a celebrity. They got to label a person a thug. They have to label something. And keep your labels to yourself. There are people who want to be labeled. There are individuals who feel like there should be a label. But what people fail to realize, everybody don't fit into your labels. People don't do things for labels. Some people are just living literally according to their best practices and are not concerned about generalized labels. It has nothing to do with why they make the decisions that they make. But most people, the average thinker, doesn't even understand that. They don't understand what it's like to have the freedom of thinking based on what is best for you. So they have to live by labels. But anyway.